Hello everyone, myself Devkant Sharma, Associate Professor Chaudhary Devilal College of Pharmacy, Jagadri. Today our topic of discussion is organization and personnel from Unit 2. Now, what are the personnel? Personnels are the workers or employees working in any organization. Here in the flow chart, there is the division of general managers. First of all, general manager. Under general manager, three types of manager works: sales manager, operation manager, and purchase manager. Now we all know marketing is the backbone of any organization, and sales manager is under sales manager there are sales representative, and operational managers there are two types of supervisor or managers, just like quality control supervisor or quality control manager, production manager is further categorized just like the three types of supervisors uh, works under production manager, quality control inspectors, department supervisors, and production planning. Now purchase manager works for the purchasing of all the raw material, packing material, etc. in the organization. Now we will talk about personals. The establishment and maintenance of any organization rely upon people. People means the worker or the personals or the employees working in any organization. For this reason, there must be sufficient qualified personals to carry out all the tasks for which the manufacturer is responsible. Now we will talk about general requirements, just like the manufacturer should have an adequate number of personnel with necessary qualification and practical experience. All responsible staff should have their specific duties recorded in written descriptions. All personnel should be aware of the principles of GMP, and steps should be taken to prevent unauthorized person from entering into the production, storage, and quality control areas. Now, key personnel. Who are the key personnel? Key personnels are the authorized persons, which include just head of production, head of quality control. Normally, key posts should be occupied by full-time personnel. The head of production and quality control should be independent each other, and the education of these key personnel should include the combination of chemistry or biochemistry, chemical engineering, microbiology, pharmaceutical science and technology, pharmacology and toxicology, physiology, and other related sciences. Now we will discuss about the responsibilities of heads of production and quality control. The jointly responsibilities of head of production and quality control, head of quality control are authorization of written procedure and other documents, monitoring and control of manufacturing environment, plant hygiene, process validation and calibration of analytical apparatus. Training include the application and principles of quality assurance, approval and monitoring of suppliers of materials, approval and monitoring of contract manufacturers, designation and monitoring of storage conditions for the material and products, performance and evaluation of in-process control, retention of records, monitoring of compliance with GMP requirements, inspection, investigation, and taking of samples in order to monitor factors that may affect the product quality. So these were the jointly responsibilities of head of production and head of quality control. Now we will discuss individual responsibilities uh, regarding head of production. The first is to ensure that products are produced and stored according to the appropriate documentation. to approve the instructions relating to the production operations, including the in-process control, and to ensure their strict implementation. To ensure that the production records are evaluated and signed by a designated person, to check the maintenance of the department, premises, and equipment, to ensure that the appropriate process validation and calibration of control equipments are performed, to ensure that the required initial and continuing training of production personnel is carried out and adapted according to need. So these were the individual responsibility of head of production. Now we will discuss individual responsibility of quality control head. First is to approve or reject starting material, packaging material, or intermediate bulk and finished products, to evaluate the batch records, to ensure that all the necessary testing is carried out, to approve the sampling instructions and specifications, to approve and monitor analysis carried out under contract, to check the maintenance of the department premises and equipment, to ensure that the appropriate validation, including those of analytical procedures and calibrations of control equipment, are carried out, to ensure that the required initial and continuing training of the quality control personnel is carried out and adapted according to the need. So these were the individual responsibilities of head of quality control. Now we will talk about the approval for release of finished product or finished batch. For this purpose, we can delegate a person, or we can designate a person for this purpose, and there should be there there are some requirements for the person uh, which is delegated for approval of release products. The first requirement is the marketing authorization and the manufacturing authorization requirements for the product have been met for the batch concerned. The principle and guidelines of GMP are followed. The principal manufacturing and testing processes have been validated. All the necessary checks and tests have been performed. Any planned changes or deviation in manufacturing or quality control have been notified in accordance with a well-defined reporting system. Any additional sampling, inspection, test and check have been carried out or initiated as appropriate to the cover plant changes and deviations. All necessary production and quality control documentation has been completed. Appropriate audits, self inspections, and spot checks are carried out by the experienced and trained staff. Approval has been given by the head of quality control. All relevant factors have been considered, including any not specifically associated with the output batch directly under review. So these were the responsibilities of that person who is involved in releasing of the batch or finished product. Now we will discuss about the training regarding the personals. The training, the first point is the manufacturer should provide training in accordance with a written program for all personnels whose duties take them into the manufacturing areas. Besides the basic training on the theory and the practice of GMP, newly recruited personnel should receive training regarding their duties. Personnel working in the areas where contamination is hazard, for example, clean areas, areas where highly active, toxic, infectious, or sensitizing materials are handled, should be given specific training. Means the persons working handling their working in the areas just like where the APIs are placed or the toxic substances are, they should be given a specific training. The concept of quality assurance and all measures should be fully discussed during the training sessions. Visitors or untrained personnel should preferably not be taken into the production or quality control areas. Consultant and contract staff should be qualified for these services. They provide evidence of this should be included in the training record. So these were the uh, training regarding the personals. Now personal hygiene. Personal hygiene. What type of hygienic steps we can take in the organization? First is all personnel prior to and during employment, as appropriate, should undergo health examinations, also undergo their periodic eye examinations. All personnel should be trained in the practices of personal hygiene. Any person shown at any time to have an apparent illness or open lesions that may adversely affect the quality of a product should not be allowed to handle the starting material, packaging material, in process materials, etc. All employees should be instructed and encouraged to report their immediate supervisor if they see any if they consider may if they see any conditions which adversely affect the products. Direct contact should be avoided between the operator's hands and the starting material, primary packaging material, etc. To ensure protection of product from contamination, personnel should wear clean body covering appropriate to the duties they perform. Now, smoking, eating, drinking materials and any type of personal medicine should not be permitted into the production laboratory and storage areas. Personal hygiene procedure, including the use of protective clothing, should apply to all the person entering into the production area. So these were the personal hygiene steps. Now personal records. Personal records, the records related to the persons or employees working in the organization. Personal records are the record pertaining to the employees of an organization. These records are accumulated, factual and comprehensive information related to concerned record and detained. All information with effect to human resources in the organization is kept in a systematic order. Such records are helpful to a manager in various decision making areas. Now we will discuss about the purpose of personal records. It helps to supply crucial information to the managers regarding the employees, to keep an update records of leaves, lockouts, transfers, turnover, etc. of the employees. It also helps the manager in framing various training and development programs. It helps the government organization to gather data in respect to rate of turnover, rate of absenteeism, and other personal matters. It helps the managers to make salary revisions, allowance, and other benefits related to the salaries. It also helps the researchers to carry in depth study with respect to industrial relations and goodwill of the firm in the market. So this was our topic, organization and the personal. Next topic we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you.